these, you'll need a strap for practice for sure. Blocks are optional, and make sure that you have the strap close by as you come to settle down on your mat. So as you take kind of these first few moments to adjust the body, wiggle, shift, and really allow the entire physicality of your body to just soften. So notice if there's a holding or an arcing, perhaps of the shoulders or the hips, up and away from the floor. Maybe even checking in through the ankles and noticing, are you still holding the feet a little more upright in place, or can you soften those out to the side? Just giving the physical body a moment to recalibrate, letting go of whatever perhaps kind of just thoughts or considerations were buzzing around the mind before you came to your mat. Just allowing those to go on pause for now. Spending these next moments in movement and breath. And just notice how the breath is moving today. Where does it tend to reach to on your inhale? And as you exhale, can you connect to that feeling of fully emptying out? So that when you take that fresh inhale, you're fully exploring the breadth and depth of the lungs. And for today's breath practice, I'd like to walk you through a little bit of guided Durga breath. So this is also kind of known as three-part breath, where we visualize kind of a compartmentalization of the breath through the torso. And by doing this, it helps us kind of explore that range and depth of breath to really get deeper breath encouraged to activate through the diaphragm. We don't tend to do diaphragmatic breathing. We tend to kind of focus that more in the chest. So this allows us that kind of awareness to really reach the breath a little deeper. So if you'd like to explore that, let's just take a cleansing inhale in through the nose and let it out the mouth. Now, as you draw your breath in, I'd like you to envision the breath filling up from the pelvis, passing the belly, and then invite that breath all the way up towards the rounds of your shoulders. Feel the torso completely buoyant with air. And let's gently pause here at the top. And then as we prepare to exhale, I'd like you to top down the breath. So begin to send the breath out from the shoulders and collarbone. Let the chest begin to settle and sink. The belly settles all the way down towards the hips, empty out. Good job. Again, breathe in, bottom, middle, top, and gentle hold here, letting go of tension or gripping in the body as you just retain that pranic energy through your breath. And exhale slowly, top, middle, bottom. Beautiful. Again, inhale. Sometimes it's helpful to even think as you're exploring this tide of breath, think of it like the wave of an ocean rolling in. There's always that gentle little hesitant pause as the wave lands up at the shore before it retracts back inward to the belly of the ocean. Exhale down and out. Explore 2 more rounds of this breath, please, at your own pace. Softening through the jaw and the teeth, especially when you're exploring that breath retention. As you journey through that last cycle of 3-part breath, start to explore here, where is that hardening or stickiness coming into the body? And can you just edge off a little bit? And then releasing that practice after that final exhale, just drop into a few cycles of your natural ebb and flow of breath, please. Just tuning in, exploring if anything tangible feels like it's shifted or adjusted. Or maybe you just notice that there's nothing there to notice. Just dialing inward. Have a beautiful class, everyone. All right, so we'll just slowly start to kind of awaken the body as we were laying still, so you can move wrists, ankles, maybe a gentle movement of the head. And then immediately we're going to reach for this strap here today, and you're going to open your strap right up long. And staying in this kind of supine position, just bring the legs, zip the legs a little bit together so inner ankles come together. And then we want a gentle activation in through the back of the legs. So you're curling the toes up towards the knees so you feel that action of pressing the back of the legs into the floor. And then you're going to take hold of this strap just a little bit wider than shoulder width distance apart. Now, when you look up at your wrists, please, and your fists, I'd like you to make sure that they're not rolling in or rolling out. You're not seeing any kind of creases happening through the tissue there from where the wrist connects to the hands. We want one straight line coming out from the forearm. And then as you begin here, let's just gently lift the head, tuck the chin, make sure you've got lengthen through your spine. And then as you inhale, start to allow the arms to come overhead and behind you. Now, we're working with rotation in the shoulder through that rotator cuff. So some of us may have some resistance as far as how low those arms go. But if your hands reach the floor behind you, I'd like you to just notice, does one kind of fist land first? And what can you explore about that? It can give us a little bit of insight into where we hold tension in the body, one shoulder or the other. And then as we inhale, let's bring those arms back up towards the ceiling. And right when you kind of knuckles are facing upward, follow your exhale and continue your rotation with the arms dropping down and in front. So the belt might land across the hips here as the hands come to settle. And let's use your breath to drop into a few more rotations of this movement. So inhale, rise. Exhale, allow them to drop down. Think of your torso being completely still here. I think of almost those when my son used to play with Lego, and those little Lego people, how their arms kind of rotate in those kind of 360 degrees. You could place them in all kinds of different shapes. So just think of when you're rotating here, that joint of the shoulder into the socket is just kind of rolling and moving with ease, using the breath to soften and smooth out any stiff or sticky places. Notice as well if you're staying connected to the smoothness of your breath. Let's finish out one more here, please. Beautiful. And then let's just remove the strap off to the side, bringing the arms up overhead, fingertips facing skyward. Let's bend at the elbows, and I'd like you to wrap your arms around yourself as if you were giving yourself just a gentle hug here. And then actively send the arms away from you as you kind of feel this rounding come in through the upper back, get a little deeper into those scapula. And then drop them closer in towards the body. One more, puff up. You can also feel this through the deltoid, or I can at least. And then release. Let's spread the arms back up overhead. This time you're crossing your grip. So my left is on top, depends where you started. And as you take hug there, just again, send the shoulders and the arms away from you as you feel that rounding come into the upper back. Exhale, soften down. And inhale, puff up. See if you can relax the neck as you puff here. Let the shoulders do the work, not the neck. Exhale, release. Good job. And then taking any other movement through the shoulders that you may need, we're going to start to come to roll to our side and meet in a tabletop position. So hips over top of knees, hands underneath shoulders, whatever feels appropriate for your body, moving those hands further away or further underneath. We're just going to move with a little bit of core work here. So I'd like you to bring that awareness into your center. So send the navel up towards the spine. And then we're going to send this right leg out behind us as we extend left arm long, raise that right leg and find a sense of balance here. Also activation in through your core. Just looking down gently at the mat. We don't want to put any strain on the neck. Good job. Find 2 more breaths here. Keep reaching through the heel and the fingertips of the extended arm. Notice where those kind of wobbles come in and where can you allow the breath to anchor you to find stillness. Good job. Return your hand and your leg. Let's switch sides. So send that left leg out first. Get your kind of stability by plugging the toes in. And then extend your right arm long. Inhale, lift the left leg up. So powering down through that supporting hand, soften into the elbows, feel the muscles working. And maybe lower the leg a little bit, just a hair. Some of us tend to just kind of by default, jack that leg up high to get out of the core doing the work. Good job. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. Release your hand and your leg. And then let's inch those knees backward, please, as we prepare to come up into our downward facing dog. So find your breath on inhale. Exhale, send the hips skyward here. Extend the spine nice and long. So as you plug the toes into the ground, I'd like you to reach up and back. So spread the sitting bones. And then think about your shoulders here. So even come to kind of shrug them towards the ears, and then send the neck and the head away as you broaden and roll the shoulders out across the back body. And as you continue to feel into your palms and perhaps the balls of your feet, you're going to explore any space there to sink and settle the heels. So send your breath into the back of your legs. Let's find 3 more full belly breaths here in your downward facing dog. And notice if you just kind of hang out in the posture. I'd like you to stay aware and awake. So pressing into the hands, keep sending the hips skyward. Feel that activation through the body. And then as we look towards the top of our mat, we're just going to walk our feet up towards the top. And then with your feet just about hip width distance apart, please. Let's inhale, extend the spine forward, so straighten the legs. This is where you can slide your blocks underneath your hands if you'd wish. And then as we exhale, bend the knees, fold over the belly. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, extend, reach through the crown of the head. Feel yourself kind of peeling off of your heels here. Good job. And then as you exhale, fold over. Now, on your next breath, I'd like you to power down through your feet, bend your knees a little deeper, and we're going to take our arms along the side body and use that momentum to kind of sweep ourselves up, rise up, reach up. Hands are open like you're holding kind of the sun. And then exhale, sink your hips back. Utkatasana, chair pose, please. So we're sending the bum way backward. And a way to kind of tell if you're in the correct kind of alignment, I want you to peek down and take a look and see, can you see your toes? If you can't, then the knees are too far forward. You have to really stick your bottom back. If the shoulders tire here, please just bring your hands to namaste, hands in front of the heart. Otherwise, we're working those shoulders still and we're reaching. And then we're going to move with little pulses here on breath. So as you inhale, rise up just an inch or two. Exhale, sink the hips down. So inhale, pulse up. Exhale, sink down. Maybe you explore even playing with lifting your toes. See how that changes things for you as you kind of press down into the balls and the heels of your feet. Can you feel that change and that heat building in through the quads? Good job. Let's explore 3 more here. I know we're starting to kind of warm things up. Stay with your breath as well. Notice, are you holding the breath as you sink and challenge the strength in the legs? Now we're going to hold here the next time you sink down. Continue to breathe. Good job. On an exhale, fold over your legs. And here I'd like you to just kind of walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Take your right foot and just kind of cross it over your left. And start to fold over the legs any amount. Good job. Start to walk the hands back to center. You can bring the right foot over. Walk your hands to left, crossing that left foot over the right. Bend the knees as much as you need to here, and exhale, fold over your legs. Good job. And then back to center. Unhook the feet. And just one final spinal extension, please. Inhale, straighten your legs, flatten the back out. So send your heart down towards the floor. Exhale, fold. Keep looking up at your navel as you send your tailbone skyward. And then let's just bring ourselves down to our mat, please. You can come to kneel and then find your seat. And we're just going to come into some spinal twists. So for most of us, I find it helpful to kind of raise the seat. So you may wish to, again, use your block or perhaps a blanket if you have got a blanket at home. And we'll just kind of start with folding the right leg in. So you want to come right to the edge of that block so you've got that added height. And then you're going to see if there's space to cross that leg over top. So if you start to kind of notice that you're going sideways, you might need to adjust your seat. I want you to feel kind of lengthened through the spine. And then this leg, my heel is kind of getting stuck on the block there. There we go. So once you feel balanced across your sitting bones, we're going to find this kind of opening up twisting action. So as you inhale, spine reaches. As you exhale, send the left hand behind you, and then right hand's going to come to hook onto that knee. Some of us might have the space to bend the elbow and create that twist in through the thoracic spine. Otherwise, use the forearm to encourage the twist and lift through the back. So each time you inhale, get a little bit taller. And then as you exhale, twist. See if you can focus your twist coming in through the ribs and not the neck or the head. Good job. One more full breath here. Good job. And then as you slowly start to come back, we're just going to switch the position of our legs. So crossing in through that left leg. I'm just going to change my block so I've got a little bit more space here. There we go. And then stepping our right foot over top. All right, find that lengthen through your spine. So again, if you find that you're kind of rounding over, find where you can reach that space up. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to send that right hand behind us. Left hand's going to hook onto that bent knee and find your twist. Allow that length and depth of your breath to encourage this rotation in through the spine. Good job. Coming back to center. Excellent. And then we'll just come off of our seat. Keeping the block nearby or something that you're using as a block. Let's make our way down here. We're just going to slide that block under the back of the hips or into the sacrum. So you're placing it just above your tailbone and not directly on the low back. Let's just send the legs skyward, please, for a little legs up the wall, Viparata Karani, but more so just a soft, less active version. So allow a little gentle bend in through the knees, just allowing lymph to move, calming down the nervous system. Bringing the feet above the heart is a beautiful practice to cool and calm the body down. We're on the eve of a full moon tomorrow, so, well, depending, I guess, when you're watching this recording, if you're watching it on Friday. But connecting to that calmer, more feminine, gentler energy. Surrender the full weight of your skull to the floor here. Feel a lightness come in through the soles of your feet. And let's just explore 3 more full belly breaths. As you come around that 3rd cycle of breath, please, you can just slowly start to deepen and bend into the knees. And then slowly bring your feet to the floor. Once you're kind of landed there, just take a moment of mindfulness as you root down through the soles of your feet to carefully lift your pelvis just a hair enough to slide that prop out from underneath. And then as you lower your back down, just bring the knees in towards the belly. Give yourself a little bit of a hug, maybe a gentle roll from side to side. And then allow both the legs to just splay out down in front, making the feet land a little bit wider than the hips. Soften the ankles as you set yourself up for Shavasana. So making sure that you are warm enough in where you've chosen to practice. Maybe grabbing a pillow, You have even a weighted eye pillow at home. That's a beautiful way to drop in. So closing today's class with some words from Katie Buman before I bring us back. Everything you need to hear can be found in the quiet, empty spaces. The stillness of a moment, the faint lines on a blank page, the tension of an untouched canvas. Where there is nothing is where you will find everything. Gently, slowly bringing yourself back to your body. Maybe deepening your next breath. Welcoming in some slow and subtle movements through fingers, toes, a rock of the head from side to side. But gathering up some energy to help the body roll over onto its right side. Extending the right arm as you cradle the head, curling the knees in a little bit closer towards your center. Find a deep inhale once there, in through the nose. Let it all out the mouth. And then slowly making your way back to a comfortable seat. This closing practice with crown of the head towards the heavens and spine tall. Let's close this class along with this series this month with one breath in community when you're ready. Inhale, arms out to the side. Drawing palms together, exhale, hands down to heart center. Taking a moment of gratitude for your practice, the gifts of your yoga, to your overall wellness and being, and coming home to your true self. It's been my honor to guide you, my friends, to be able to share my teacher's teachings with all of you. Until next time, Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful spirit.